Hi, Becky.
Hi, Amy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Amy.
So,
Hi, Amy, again. And again and again. I'm just going to share this video around a bit. Everyone's going to be like, Becky, how many lives are you doing today?
I know this is my third one. I did one with Cara, and then I also did a movement thing on my business page. So, my name's Amy Shine. For those of you who don't know me, this is Becky Finesse. You're on her business page. You might watch this video somewhere else in the future, maybe on YouTube. Maybe this will arrive in your inbox if you're on our email list. And me and Becky.
Maybe you're on Instagram.
Or on Instagram or on YouTube. We're all over the place. So me and Becky wanted to get on today and talk today about competition. What is competition? We'd like to do these challenges, and so last month we did 7 days of no judgment challenge, and this month we're doing 7 days of no competition. And we were just talking before we got on, if you follow Access Consciousness, and if you don't, it's fine. But one of the keys to freedom is no competition. So there's like 10 keys to freedom that when you use these tools, you actually get total freedom and total choice. And one of them is no competition. And I was saying to Becky before I got on, I said, before I thought that I wasn't competitive because I don't have inherent drive to, when it comes to I was never very competitive in school, I never really needed to be first or any of that. And I remember even growing up with my brother, he was and still is so competitive. And we used to be at Christmas playing those board games, like Scrabble and stuff. Yeah. And he used to try cheat to win. And we used to be like, why? Why would you cheat and Scrabble? That's insane. But anyway, he used to always have to win. He had it in his word where he had to win. And if he didn't win, he'd get annoyed or he'd get mad or whatever. And I used to be like, why does it matter? We're just playing a game. Why does it matter who wins? Yeah. So I always had it in my world that I wasn't competitive. Well, since me and Becky have put this 7-day challenge out into the world and put it on ourselves as well, we started to unravel all the places we're doing competition where we didn't think it was competition. Yeah. So one of the things I thought me and Becky could look at today and have a conversation with all of you and anyone who watches, what actually is competition? And what if it's not just everyone knows that energy of you have to win, that competitive energy, you have to win. That's one energy you kind of know that is competition. That's pretty obvious. It's competition. And, if you're involved in sports, competitive sports, you get the energy of that competition. But what other energies, Becky, have you started to see with competition that are kind of being revealed to you?
Well, one thing I just want to acknowledge too, which is super cool, is about when you are willing to acknowledge any energy and then look at it. And so for me, even creating this 7-day challenge, and then we're like, oh, it's already started. Because I'm like, what is competition? Where do I do competition? And one thing I even noticed that really surprised me today that we were just chatting about is I'm actually doing competition even with my choices. And what did that look like? Where I was like, wow, well, I'm going to go to this, but then if I choose this, can I choose that? And then which one's better?
Oh, so which one better? That right there, that line, which one is better? That line right there is competition.
It's totally competition.
Because you're looking for the best choice.
The best choice.
Trying to see which one will make you win and which one will
make me not lose.
Make you not lose. And whenever you do win and lose, you're doing competition.
You're doing competition. And so for me, it was an amazing awareness. I was like, wow. So because when you say yes to something, it actually starts creating, right? I'm like, yes, I'm doing this. And it's already actually creating in my life the ability to acknowledge where I'm even doing it, that I'm not aware of, right? And so I was like, wow. So I would think competition would be with people. and not only people. As a woman, like, I really don't always compete with men. It's mostly the women that are taught at an early age to compete with each other. I think maybe men compete with men more, women compete with more women. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know there is the energy of still trying to be better than men in business and different things, but I think in general, the first thing that always pops up when you talk about competition is like people think about, a woman when you're young, a girl that took your boyfriend, or some girl has a boyfriend and you're like, I want him. It's the energy of like wanting something. And when you want something, you believe that you can't have it. And then you create the interesting thing of, I want that. And not even just boyfriends. Like, have you ever seen, I seen some the other day, they're driving this amazing car. And now I'm like, oh, I'll have that too, which is a different energy. Than, I can't have that. Like, why do they do that? And I don't have it. It's just a different energy and a different way to create and actualize things.
Yeah, and one of the ways too that what started showing up for me as well was that I didn't realize was competition was comparison. Like, whenever you go to compare yourself to someone else, you're actually competing with them. But see, we think that competition is where we try to be better than someone else. But if you are comparing yourself to someone else and making yourself less than them, you're also competing. So if you look at the guy driving the car and you're like, oh my God, like, I could never have that car because I could never make as much money as him, because he knows how to make money and I'd never know how to make that much money. And he probably has, these amazing capacities with business and there's no way I could do that. Well, that's comparison. That's where you're comparing yourself to someone else. You're making yourself less than them. And then you are actually competing with that person.
Yeah.
So like, how many times a day do we look at other people, look outside of ourselves, and compare ourselves to other people and conclude that we can't have that?
Or we can't have it, or we're not that.
Or we're not that, yeah. Wow.
That's cool.
So everything that is, can we destroy and create it?
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, shirts, boys and men. So that's just the access consciousness clearing statement. That's a tool that me and Becky use to start clearing away these places where we have been really doing this to ourselves, like cognitively, but also energetically. Because how many times a day do you energetically judge yourself? Do you energetically compare yourself to someone else? Do you energetically compete with someone else? Mm-hmm. And this stuff is insane. What we do with this is actually insane. And you can't change something that's insane with something that's logical. So the only way you can change something that's based in unconsciousness is with something that actually talks to the unconsciousness. And the clearing statement is designed to go in and to your unconsciousness and unlock you from those unconscious places that are locked in place by insane points of views, by insane judgments. So it's not a logical way of changing things. It's actually a very nonsensical way of changing things. Yeah. And the whole energy of competition is very nonsensical, right? Like, yeah. It's actually, and it's very insidious, the way it creeps through your world and through all of our worlds. Can you imagine if we lived in a world where there was no competition?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like,
wouldn't it be so much kinder? Like the competition is like, you're basically saying like that you're not unique, that you should be like someone else.
It's also, what you're also telling yourself is that you're not something, right? Like, you're not something, you're not enough, which is a total lie, right? Like, that's such the cool thing that I'm excited about this challenge for, is really diving into everything that you really are and that you can have and that you actually be. Whenever, you look outside of yourself that you don't have something, it's a lie. And how many times do you lie to yourself a day? Oh gosh, because there's this piece of actually, you're an infinite being, and infinite beings have everything. You have everything available to you. And I know, like, in this reality, like, a lot of people will be like, well, that's not true. Like, I don't have $1 million in my bank account. You know, oh, I really, whatever you're saying is like, I don't have that. But when you've decided you're not something, are you able to receive it?
No, you've already put it outside of you.
Yeah, you've already put it outside of you. Yeah, it's you. Then you're functioning from a no choice, you know, universe of like, well, I can't choose this because I don't have this. When in actuality, you actually are everything that you've ever even desired and everything that you've ever wished for.
And when you go into the no choice universe, that's when you go into the win lose, which is competition. And that's what you were talking about at the start with your choices. You were like, oh, if I choose this, then I can't have this. Okay, which will I choose? Which one is the better choice? Which is the win lose. It's like you got, and the win lose keeps you in the polarity. Like it's constantly keeping you in this cycle of competition. Like I've got to make sure I win and not lose, while really probably believing you're losing. You know,
believe you've already lost. And you know, I feel like we're kind of like getting into even the energy of the call.
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, are we doing this before? Are we doing like the challenge before the challenge?
Well, I think we kind of wanted to like more just bring up the energy of what is competition, because so many people do. My friend Barbara, you know, said like, she goes, oh, Mamie, like I never realized, like I always thought I didn't do competition because like I never like, you know, like I never like felt competitive with people, and everyone said I was like so nice. And then when I told her, like when I talked about comparing yourself to other people, like that's competition, she was like, oh my God, I'm doing competition.
Oh my God. Well, so one, if you find out you're doing competition, first, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's okay. Even acknowledging places that you're doing something, actually you've already begun to change it. It's the things that we never acknowledge that we're never able to change. A crazy person never says they're crazy. So you guys all know that. Like that's like 101, you know, like, yeah. So if you've ever, if this has ever been something that's been in your world, like, oh my gosh, people steal my ideas.
That one.
People, every time, you know, like people buy or do whatever I do, you know, I've heard people say that a lot. Like, and like these things are actually all compliments. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's such a cool thing. But if you've ever had people steal your ideas, if you've ever had people try to take your clients, if you've ever had people try to get you out of a business because they're not friends with you anymore, right? Like that's competition. If you ever have been in a group and you're like, what am I doing here? Like I don't fit in.
Yeah, or everyone in the group turned against you. Competition. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever like felt like you weren't part of, or you weren't part of the group, or you were excluded? You're doing competition.
Yes.
But you're doing it to yourself. It's not necessarily like you're doing competition to them. You're actually doing it to yourself. You're actually excluding yourself. Nobody can exclude you. Only you can exclude you. You're part of everything. Separation isn't real, but we exclude ourselves on the premise that separation is real.
Mm. Yeah. So if you found us and you're listening to this and you said, yes, I've been a part of that or I've done that, and any of those things that we just brought up, this might be fun for you to play with. We're inviting you to a 7-day challenge of no competition.
Yes, we are. We start next Monday. And there'll be a video every day we'll have it's $35 to join. And there'll be, once you join, you'll be added to a private Facebook group, and we'll be live every day for 7 days. There'll be a video every day, and we're going to really just be diving into this topic of competition and dismantling it from our worlds.
Yeah. Yeah, and even looking at that space and joining a group of people, which it's so exciting. There's so many that have already been like, yes, I know there's something different available with us. And it seems like now is the time. Seems like there's a new energy available for all of us that I have never been aware of before. So I, for one, am super excited, and I invite you to this. And if we don't see you here, I look forward to seeing you somewhere else soon.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.